At some point in their lives, most American women find themselves living alone. And whether it's by choice or not, it can be a lonely feeling, but it doesn't always have to be. There is a new majority in America, and it's not a political movement. 51% of American women are now living without a spouse. But when you think of these single women, don't think Carrie Bradshaw from Sex and the City. Many are divorced or separated. That number has tripled since 1950. And nearly 10% of women are widowed. Psychotherapist Florence Falk, herself twice divorced, found that many women in her practice were going it alone and needed assurance that life on their own would be okay.
You begin to grapple with your fears and your concerns, and you begin to see that aloneness isn't like being in a prison.
Falk has written about her own experience in a new book called On My Own, The Art of Being a Woman Alone. She wants women to understand there's a difference between being alone and being lonely.
Aloneness essentially is a neutral state. We can enter it and feel okay about it or not. Loneliness is about a sense of loss.
Sleeping by myself took some getting used to, but I got the hang of it.
And as the American family evolves from the picture-perfect model of the 1950s,
make a wish,
to today's increasing number of single households, Falk suggests that women find comfort in their independence.
It's one of the most liberating things we can do.
And Florence Falk is here this morning along with three single women, Maribel Vega, who is divorced, Hallie Hobson, who is single but would like to be in a relationship, and Jackie Stafford, who is happily single and about to adopt a child. Good morning to all of you.
Good morning.
Florence, let me start with you because you wrote this book about being a woman alone.
Yeah.
You say your message to women is pretty simple, that we need to embrace aloneness and not think of it as a failure. What do you mean?
Well, of course, this is my own story, my personal story. But when I started to work with women, to my astonishment, I realized that about 80% of the women in my practice, married and unmarried, had extraordinary fears, a sense of shame, a sense of inadequacy about being either in a state of aloneness or actually women alone.
Well, there's been a stigma attached to it, that if you're alone, there's something the matter with you.
A huge stigma. Men are, of course, if they're alone, they're bachelors. And women, we're still carrying the legacy of being spinsters and dried up and ready for the dumpster, really. So, yeah, we have a lot of learning to do. And what I'm trying to say is that if we allow ourselves to be in a state of aloneness, and we can actually be there with whatever feelings come up, and some pretty strong feelings will come up at the beginning.
Then we will grow as women. And I have three ladies here, all of them in a state of aloneness at the moment. Starting with you, Maribel, you've been married, you're 40, you've been married twice and divorced. What does it mean to be alone after having been in a relationship?
Well, I think you go through a transitional period because I've always been in long-term relationships, so you get to a point of you enjoy it for a little while, at least for me anyway, and then I came to a point of like, what do I do? That's not who I am anymore. Who am I right now? So
you've always attached your identity to someone else.
Exactly. So then when I wasn't doing that anymore, because as you get older, you become more picky, or you don't want to settle. And then it's like, okay, so what do I do? And it's a matter of accepting it and saying, okay, this is what I want. And I'm not going to settle, so I'm going to enjoy what I do have.
And are you enjoying being alone? Or do you still have a little bit of the...
I go back and forth. It's just different feelings, different times. I enjoy being alone. There are things I can come and go as I please. But, there are always times when you want that companionship. So I'm still... I'm not saying that I wouldn't want that relationship. Of course I would, and I'm looking. But I'm not desperate for it.
And Hallie, you're 32, you've never been married, and being alone isn't really first choice for you.
It's not. I mean, I think I was raised in a wonderful way where I was really encouraged to focus on my education and now my career, and so I've been very much about my friends and my self-development. But I think now that, 32, I'll be 33 soon, and I do think I'd like to have a relationship, a partner to go through life with. I'm grew up as an only child for the first 18 years of my life, so I feel like I actually am very comfortable being alone and being in my own skin and living by myself. But I think the next part of my life is going to have a relationship as a part of it. So I'm looking forward to that next incarnation. So.
That's pretty good.
And Jackie, you're 40. You're single. You're about to adopt a child, and you love being alone.
I do. I love being single. I think it's, I have a very supportive role model. My mother, was a widow at 50, and she's always didn't rush into getting remarried, and she's not remarried, and she's very happy, and she's really sort of given me a wonderful role model of how you can be single and how to be totally happy. I'm very confident within myself. So I'm adopting a child, and I won't be the first single mum. And I think so many single women put off their life, and they put their life on hold, waiting for Mr. Perfect to come along. They don't take that dream vacation they want to do. Right. They don't buy property because they're waiting to buy a 2-bedroom with their partner rather than just going for a 1-bedroom. So I think it's such a shame that women put off waiting to live their life until they've met Mr. Right.
Well, I feel Florence, like Jackie has really discovered the art of being alone.
Say, Jackie, you've graduated.
I've graduated.
A summa cum laude, I must say, by the enthusiasm.
Right. But you know what? There are a lot of women who are in kindergarten and first grade, if that, and who have to learn what you've obviously learned in order to be truly feeling very, very vitalized to be on their own.
And how do you gain the confidence? That's the thing.
I think it's not even that you gain the confidence. I think it's that you have to go through the emotions of it, and then you just get to a point of you have to accept what's in front of you and really looking at what are the things that you want. Absolutely. And accepting it, and then you can be happy with yourself.
And you can have such a full life. I mean, if you think, I've got such great friends, I'm moving forward in my career, I'm home eating crackers in bed, it's really enjoyable today, you can enjoy those things.
Unfortunately, we're not alone here, and someone's talking in my ear saying that we've got to wrap it up. So thank you all, Florence Falk, Maribel Vega, Hallie Hobson, and Jackie Stafford. The Art of Being Alone. Up next, the one and only Stevie Nicks live in concert. But first, this is Today on NBC.